Welcome to Mercy's Designs. My name is Mercy and I demonstrate Stampin' Up! Products. Today I want to show you this really adorable hat. Now, when I first looked in Celebration and saw this free bedazzling paper, I truthfully wasn't very impressed. I thought it looks way too glitzy, it's really over the top, what if it sheds, all these questions. But when I saw it in person, it was just amazing. No, it does not shed. It does a really great job die cutting, although there is a note in here, it will accelerate the dulling of your die cutting blades if you use it a lot on, like for cutting something out. Anyhow, still worth it, and I thought, wouldn't it be adorable with this beautiful hats off stamp set? Now, this is in the annual catalog, and I would say I've made more cards with this particular set than any other one in the annual catalog. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make a card with it, and I hope you enjoyed this. And I want to give a few tips on how to do the paper piercing here. So you do not need to obviously cut out the whole thing. In fact, here for this hat bill, I guess it's called, I was able to already get 7 pieces out of it. So I'm opening up my dies. I keep my dies with my stamp set with a magnet. So when you're doing this, I will demonstrate exactly how I do it. So I get a hold of the paper and I look at it like this, and then I cut around it. Now sometimes I do it this direction because it makes more sense, and then I just get up under here and do it. So, but in this case, this particular one, it would work best this way. So I would just get in here and cut around like that. So you can see I can easily get 10 out of this. Okay, so it's kind of like that. And then when I die cut it out, it will look somewhat like this. So the next step is to trim around it. Now I started this process, and what you want to do is there is this fabulous stitching on the bill, and you want to cut below it. So what I did here is I cut along here. Now the other tip is it helps to have it slightly higher than this part, and this is sort of a guessing game, and I've sort of discovered this, that if you just go flush where it normally would be, which would be right here, it actually looks a little cut off. And if you experiment with it, you'll know exactly what I mean. So now it's at this point. It's ready, and then you will have to do a little bit more trimming possibly if you want the black portion here stamped. But I digress, and I will now show some stamping. All right, so what you'll want is some pattern paper. So I have this beautiful paper, and this is from the DSP Pansy Petals, and this is in the annual catalog. So I will just have that in. I just realized I forgot my stamp. Hats off. So just one sec. Okay, welcome back. Here's my Memento ink, and because it's a large stamp, I do suggest inking it with the stamp pad upside down onto the stamp, and this will help me know where to cut it out. So, and because it's photopolymer, you want to actually use some type of cushioning. I love these cushions from the Stamparatus for this. It's also easy to clean it. So this is a non-directional paper, and it's got a tight pattern. Both are pretty important. I think if you're going to use a DSP, I think it's very useful. So the next part is just cut it out, a rough cut. Don't get too close, but you don't need to waste your paper. And then, I'm getting a little tight there. I will use this, trust me. You want to adhere it to some scrap paper. So here we go. I'm just going to cut off this part. And you want it to adhere it, and then put your die on it and run it through your die cutting machine. Now, to save time, I've already done that. So next step, ta-da. And now we have the step of fitting the bill. So again, I'll show you what I mean here. You might have it so it covers it too much, and in this case you will want to trim it. But if I can find it, I did have, yes, here's my other bill that I did trim down to the correct amount. So I'll just quickly pop that on. You can kind of cheat a little if you want that black line to show and have this a little further down, except for this tip part right here. So I like seeing that black line, and you can see I've cheated a little bit. Now I've also added some scratch paper here, and that will help make it rest more evenly. So I'm going to bring in my inside layer and do a little bit more stamping. So there is a stamp set in this catalog. This is the Celebration. Towards the end, and it's called In Your Words. And this is a hostess set that you can get for free if your order is over $300. So it is this Hope Your Day is fantabulistic. Boy, that's a mouthful. So I think that's super cute though. It's great for a birthday. Now, the other thing I had to do is stamp the sentiment. So, and with the sentiment, we are also using a celebration. This is from the Counting Sheep. So glad it's your birthday. Now, because I'm going to use the tailored made dies tags, which I also have with my scallop dies. I want to make sure that you allow enough room when you're running it through. So for this part, so that you can put that little decorative tab thing. I don't know what it's called, here. I thought I had it all figured out here. So this is what it looks like then, when it's die cut out and you put this little decorative tab. I'm using Gorgeous Grape. And then for this Aloha, I brought in an old stamp set that is still current. It's called Timeless Tropical, and it's in the Tropics. So it was this little die right here, which is Aloha. And I used the rainbow paper. Should bring this in one more time. I will have this in the description, what I put into the cards, so be sure to check that out. Also, leave a comment. I love hearing feedback. All right, so we have that, and then I went ahead and added a little strip of DSP at the bottom. This is for the inside layer. I love doing that. It just really makes a card look really finished to me. And then here is our other strip of DSP. This is also from the same DSP set, the Pansy Petals, and it's more of a neutral side. And I think this looks really cool, and it's backed with basic black, of course. So let's get this card put together. And so I'm just going to quickly add a few drops of glue. I do like not adding too much glue, just in case I made a mess of the card. I can gently pull this out. It will rip the paper a little, but if you don't use a ton of glue, it's certainly a lot easier. Okay, so here we're going to adhere this strip, and this kind of anchors the card together visually to have some kind of something on it, not just trying to put it on the blank card. But this is, by the way, 2 inches, and then 2 1/4 is the black matte, and it's cut the full length of the card, which is 5 1/2. So the first thing I'm going to do now, well, actually, before I get ahead of myself, I need to add this Aloha. Now, I did use the Stampin' Up adhesive backing. So this should come up pretty easily. All right, here we go. And I'm just going to add it here. Now, if I notice it starts to lift, I will add a little bit of glue under it just to make sure it doesn't come loose in shipping or whatever. But for now, I won't worry about that. Just adding a little glue, my good old Tombow, and I like having this at an angle. Oh, not that much of an angle, okay, and a little bit showing there. Isn't that just gorgeous with that dazzling paper? It totally rocks it. And you know, all of us have those friends that love the glitz and shine, so this is the perfect birthday card for them. All right, so you can see here I have these hearts, and this is from Give It a Whirl. Now I apologize for all the different stamp sets and dies they used, but this is not a necessary thing, but I just liked how it looked and layering it up, the hearts. So, all right, I'm just gonna tilt this. Yeah. All right, so I have some dimensional back. I just have to take the backings off here of these dimensionals. I love it how some of these demonstrators will actually use their take a pick tool, but I have real nails. They don't look good, but they definitely do the job for this sort of work. Okay, so here I'm just going to angle this. I like having intentional angles on a card, and that is our beautiful card. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing. If you have any stamping needs, email me at mewants3@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to help you place an order with a host code. Happy stamping!